Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Felger and Maz off-air show with Felger and Big Jim Murray.
Hi. Oh, yes. Hello. It's been a while since I've been on this. Hi, everybody.
Where you been?
Where have I been? I have had a lot going on over the last 5 to 6 weeks. Mostly terrible, frankly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But the one thing that's been these last few weeks have been trying to clean out my dad's house so that we could put it on the market and sell it. And so we had rented a 30-foot dumpster all last week to fill that bitch as quickly as we possibly could. I took the whole week, but it was going to work remotely Thursday and Friday because they were kind enough to say, hey, take this crap, do this from up there. Because I said, I think by Thursday we'll pretty much be done. It turns out we banged it out in 3 days. We pretty much filled that thing in 3 days. There's still some other stuff to do. But yeah, it's a lot. It's obviously emotional because it's you're dealing with all the stuff that was my dad's stuff, but it's also I'm definitely finding stuff being you might as well have left me a note that said good fucking luck with all this. But a lot of people, I don't know how many are watching on this, left a million nice messages on Instagram because I posted a photo of the full dumpster and some old photos I found. And people were super, super nice. So if that's any of you, thank you. I saw them. I'm super appreciative of it. But for instance, of one of the things that made me be why did you do this to me? So I thought I had pretty much found all of the guns and ammo. And the guns have been removed from the house, and there's more to that, which I'll get to, which I think you'll probably find entertaining, because at least I have. But the guns have been removed, and I found all them, and I thought I had found all the ammo. There's 2 massive safes, been able to get into them, and I was like, okay, I've got everything, at least in my mind. I know how I'm going to deal with this. But one of the days, the second day we were trying to clean the house, he has this room that was essentially his gun shop. He would work on guns. He'd take guns apart. He'd alter them, a whole fucking thing. And there was a big chest, a chest that you would find in an old sea vessel in the 1800s or something like that. And I took a bunch of stuff off, and I'm of course, there's a fucking lock on it. Try a bunch of codes, what I think that they're going to be. The codes don't work. And so I tell my buddy, I'm go get a crowbar. I'm we're getting this thing open. We're going to get this thing open. So we pry it open, and thinking about it now, we definitely could have sparked something.
Right. Or what if something was loaded in there?
Mike, when I tell you there was enough ammunition in this thing that would have made the Branch Davidians blush. My wife said, she goes, I heard you. We opened it. I went, oh my God, I need to sit down. I needed to sit down and take a breath because I got overwhelmed. I'm what am I supposed to do with all this?
So can I stop you?
Yeah.
Because without divulging who, I know someone very well whose father has just been put into assisted living.
Yep.
And this father was a gun guy. He's got guns and ammo. And now they're in the house. And now the kids are going to be moving into the house and using the house, but don't want the guns. But the father's, for all intents and purposes, incapacitated.
Sure.
Doesn't really speak, doesn't move, doesn't drive, and was a licensed gun owner, I'm pretty sure. What does one do with those guns? What's the legal cost? Because if I carry them anywhere, if this friend of mine carries them anywhere, I'm illegally holding, that person's illegally holding a gun.
Yeah.
Unlicensed, but I want to get rid of the fucking gun.
So
what does that person do?
So what my wife and I got our LTCs, a license to carry in Massachusetts. So you legally need to have that if you're going to be even moving these or holding these. So if
you don't want that, what does one do?
That person should talk to a lawyer. So listen, I don't know.
We don't have comments today.
I can see some, I think.
So I don't know if Murray's on the comment thing, or maybe you want to tweet Murray or something. You want to communicate with us, but there's got to be a legal way. Do you have to bring someone into the house then to remove the guns?
So in talking to the lawyers that we've been dealing with when we first started this process and going through probate, I hired them for probate. They said, we have a gun guy, essentially, that you can talk to if you want to talk to him and go through this avenue. I've been able to figure it out myself, thankfully, after talking to some other gun nut friends that have helped me snake through this.
If you have a license to carry, then that covers you.
Yes, that covers me here. But if you don't want to deal with any of that, because it is kind of a pain in the ass, or that person doesn't want to deal with that because it's kind of a pain in the ass, I think you'd be able to find a lawyer that would help you help that person navigate that situation.
Because it's a situation.
Because it's a lot.
Get pulled over with a gun.
Yeah.
Not my gun. I'm just trying to get rid of it. I'm driving it to the gun shop or whatever.
Yeah.
How the fuck do I get rid of the thing? But I'm with you. You look at the father and the pieces that they have, and you say, what were you going to do with this?
Yeah. Oh, Mike, it's madness.
You, sir, can't log onto a computer. You can't change a light bulb. Like almost quite literally, you can't screw in a deadbolt or whatever. You can't do anything. What were you going to do with that? What were you going to do with that?
Do you know the ammo boxes like that you see in like the war movies, like the ones that it was that like I was like, what is this for? Like, what did you? Can't you just have a lit? He was a but he was a very excessive man. What he liked strongly. So I guess, and he loves a bargain. So maybe he walked into the gun shop one day and it was like, you can buy 3,000 rounds of 223 ammo for $50, and he was like, "Give me it all."
It's like the 2-for-1 soap.
Right.
Get me the 2-for-1 soap.
So I still got to figure that out. And so look, and it's if I can't sell it or find someone up there that wants it, one of his buddies that I've since I've contacted all these like gun scallywags. You just bring it to a police station. So at least there's that. But it was one thing I did not see coming. Like we cracked that motherfucker open and it was like, oh no, what gunpowder stuffed with like Russian writing on it. Like it was just so overwhelming that it was like, oh no, what's this? I thought we had made such headway. And then so the gun thing in of itself too, it's funny you bring this up. So like, I have found myself in circles I never thought I would be in over the last couple of months because of all this. Motorcycle people, gun people. And thankfully, I want to shout out a shop in Woburn. I've mostly been doing all the consigning through Four Seasons Gun Shop. The reviews, if you look on Google, the guy that owns it, they're all great. One guy's a super fan of the radio station. They're great people. Because I go in there, I'm like, is this even legal? I don't even know if I should have drove this over here.
Right.
And they've been great. And so, but man, you walk, like the first time I walked in, I piecemealed some stuff initially because I didn't want to bring the whole arsenal in. So I brought a few guns in and I opened cases, and it's like, it was the first time in my life. I'm like, oh, this is what like a hot girl feels like. Because I opened, what do you got there? Other guys just shopping. What's that? Oh, that's a good piece. What are you looking for that? I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know even what I have here. Oh, that's a great gun. Do you ever shot that gun? That's a great gun. Let me see that. Can I hold it? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just want to sell it. Like, please. Do you have more of that? Can you get it? Oh, those are tough to come by. Like, all right. So it's a lot of that I'm just like, listen, I don't know. And
how many motorcycles did he have?
So upon his passing, there were 7 motorcycles.
What?
Again, what he liked a lot.
How do you get the money? Like he was an elevator repairman.
He over his whole life he referred to himself as an overpaid grease monkey. And people at elevator repairmen, you can make a really good living. And what he invested in his stuff. Like there was nothing liquid. He had the house, he had the vehicles. And so that's why I've also tried to do this right. Like I want to make sure I get what these things are relatively worth. I don't want to sell it pennies on the dollar because I feel like I'm like fucking my dad in terms of like what he invested in throughout his life. But I also have to weigh this of like, because now that we've talked with the realtor and he's like, people are now coming up here from New York and Massachusetts, and people are going to look at this piece of property and be like, yes, this is the one. I'm like, well, can you give us till August? And he's like, no, this has to be on there by like mid-June. Like, great. So that's tough because I also have to be like, I want to do this right, but also like this shit's got to go. So yes, now 6 motorcycles. I've sold 1. So there's 2 Harleys and 4 Ducatis. Do you know what Ducatis are?
I just by name.
Yeah, they're like Ferrari motorcycles. And so there's me being like, can you tell me about this? Like, I think it's worth like, and so it's a lot of.
Don't they have like a blue book value like a car would?
Yeah, but in talking to some of these bike guys that are friends of him, so I don't think they're trying to screw me. Apparently, motorcycles values have really cratered over the last couple of years because think about it. Like, one, they're dangerous to begin with anyway, and now there's this. All the time. Everyone just drives in on their phone.
Oh, and driving cars.
And the motorcycle industry is apparently cratered a lot because even like your most hardcore bikers aren't into it as much because they're terrified to ride because every dickhead's driving around on their phone and it's terrifying. So yeah, I'm not going to get what I thought I was going to get for them, apparently. But now, again, like I got to get relatively decent value for them, but it's a whole pain in the ass. I'm like on these bike Reddit threads and Ducati Reddit threads.
And fucking horrible.
It's just like it's having like another painful job that I don't want right now. But again, the people I've reached out to, listeners too, have been super helpful. At one point, I posted on Instagram and Twitter last week being like, hey, if someone want to make some extra money, if you know anything about bikes, help me sell these. I'll cut you in. That offer still stands, by the way. Email me, BigJimMurray at 985thesportshub.com. But yeah, it's been a lot. I only dealt with this once before. My grandmother passed, left her house, my grandparents' house, to me back in 2005. One of my sisters cutting out one of my sisters. So you can imagine how that went.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that was.
And
great.
that was, I don't remember it being like this because my dad had so much stuff, and I sort of remember how stressful it was at that point. But this has just been, it's a whole nother thing. Like it being 2.5 hours away. It's a lot. It's a
Sorry
lot.
to hear it.
Yeah,
All
but I'm getting a Porsche out of it.
Are you?
Yeah.
You take all the money and buy a Porsche, or it's his Porsche?
No, it's his Porsche. He had a 02 911. Yeah, I got it actually registered today. So that'll be my summer car. So I'm looking forward to tooling around in that thing.
He was.
He was a
geared
gearhead into all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah, see, apparently, so these people are saying, call a gun store. They will come and get them. And that's actually right. So in talking to these guys at this gun store and another one I've dealt with, you can actually reach out to them, and then they'll basically pull up with a truck and then consign everything for you. And you will never even have to touch them if you want to get them out of that
Meaning
house.
They'll sell it for you, or they'll just take them off your hands.
Yeah, but odds are that they will consign it.
Yeah.
So that's the way to go about it.
There you go.
Let's see. People saying... 14-0, let's go, boys. Yep, another day of bad math on the show.
It sounded so right.
Scott Mulcahy bringing up a good point. Felger, JJ was so bad today because you didn't mention his podcast in his intro. That might be part of it. That old man in the three, but you did mention it at one point.
Well, because they threw up on the simulcast, and then I'm not in the podcast world. You know, I know him being on the broadcast. I don't know him from the podcast. We've tried to play cuts from the podcast, but he's kind of long-winded. He's not very takey, as we found out.
Felger, had you ever seen Bill Walton at a Dead show?
Yes. So not me personally. I was with a group of guys. We got separated at Alpine Valley in either 88 or 89, Alpine Valley, Wisconsin. And we got separated down by the stage. And when we got back together after the show, like, dude, Felger Walton was right next to us.
It's tough to miss him.
And he was,
yeah.
But I was too far away. And he sticks out like a thumb.
Did he go over 1,000 shows? Is that what I
bet he did. I mean, he started following him in the late 60s. So he was legit. He was like a legit, counterculture hippie. Like, people thought he kidnapped Patty Hearst.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
You know, I don't know if they were like how much of a gag that was, but like he had people thought at one point he was wrapped up with the Patty Hearst people.
Yeah, so a lot of people also saying if you don't end up reaching out to one of the gun shops, or this person doesn't,
this is down in Florida.
Ask a local police department down wherever the gun is located. Things would be a lot looser in Florida.
In Florida, I bet you're just allowed to hey,
you could go to the local.
Who wants them? This Publix next door.
Yeah, local 7-Eleven set up shop.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ammo won't really do anything, even in a fire. What about gunpowder? Because there was a lot of gunpowder. Because my dad liked the old muskets that you had to Jesus. There was so much shit in there.
My father had I shit you not, a 44 Magnum, like that dirty Harry gun with the muzzle like that fucking long.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
What, you think you could hit the broadside of a fucking barn with that, old man? No way.
Yeah.
You couldn't get like that thing must have a recoil or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Like, no fucking way.
I mean, some of the stuff that I found, and frankly, I didn't know if it was going to be illegal to bring over the border, but it was, thankfully, because it had been. There's a whole thing with pre-ban and all this stuff. But when I looked at it, I'm like, I believe that's an AK-47. And sure enough, it was.
An AK-47.
But it wasn't fully automatic, so I was able to bring it to this shop, and it's since being consigned there. But,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's a whole thing. Let's see. Well, I just wanted to touch on it quickly because the one thing, you mentioned at the top of the show today to start Patriots, as we got the news that the Sports Hub in Beasley have extended the Patriots to 2033, which my first thing in hearing it was like, radio's still going to be around here.
I think that means we at least got another 10 years or 9 years, whatever.
I hope. Fingers crossed.
Isn't that what that means?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to think.
We got to keep the lights on just to air the Patriots games, if nothing else.
Yep.
So I like the sound of that for sure.
And my name and Gaspar's name's also part of that statement. So
was it?
Yeah, it was part of the pregame. We're still on. Thank God. Okay. All right.
Is it true that you get 1:00 games, but Beetle gets like the primetime games?
That is correct. Yeah. Boy, do I get it right.
One primetime game?
Yeah, there's one game for Beetle this whole year. Well, he'll do the preseason games though, so that's actually
Okay.
good. That's good for me. And but yeah, it's a full slate for your boy this year. Last year it was, I don't know, like a 60-40 type mix. This year not so much, but that's fine. It's a whole new thing.
At least it's 1 o'clock.
Yeah, there were a lot of 1 o'clock
10 to
games,
1, right?
Yeah, so that's not too
All right,
bad.
Jim. If you were doing a radio show, what would be your non-sports topics today?
Jeez,
I always need help with this.
I know I don't even really know what. So again, like outside of what this and I need to focus on for work,
Do you
sports.
follow Karen Reed?
I don't. I kind of don't care. I really don't. It's too.
I just started. I read, like I read the newspaper, so I'm not fully versed in it. I can see why all the conspiracy theories are out there, though.
Yeah.
There's enough loose ends for the conspiracy.
Well, here's how I'll sum up the case of the very little I know about it, because I know Maz is way into it. Beetle always asks me, and I'm always like, yeah, because I don't want to be like, I kind of don't give a shit. I've got my own stuff going on right now. But Maz said, he's like, oh, well, they went down to Aruba, and she was pissed at the boyfriend who got killed. And I was like, you know what? In just what I see, what she looks like, the accents I've heard, everyone involved, they're all perfectly Aruba. And I don't mean that as a compliment at all. Aruba is not a place I will go back to. I had a fine time when I went there.
Mass-holy?
That's putting it mildly, Mike. It is the island of Boston. It's so mass-holy that you're like, this isn't, does everyone come here? And it's just pink faces, shorts, brewski jerseys, fuck the, yeah, you motherfucker talks. The food's terrible. It's just, it's like, it's an island of Revere. Just there, and it's just no. And they're all so perfectly Aruba that there's an Aruba element to the Karen Reed trial. To me, it's like that's all I need to know, and so I'm good. I don't care. They all seem sketchy. She might have done it. I don't know. She seems a little batty. That whole thing. Maybe he got killed by the family there. I kind of don't give a rat's ass. I know it's huge here, though. My God, and the women love it. Oh, yeah. That is a juicy piece of steak for the ladies.
I wish I could regurgitate. If I start to talk about it, I'm going to fuck something up.
Right, same.
I don't want to get too detailed about the thing, other than to say some of the little loose ends are sort of, they do make you go, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
some of the timing of the texts between some of the guys is interesting. Some of the text messages that they uncovered and the timing thereof.
A couple on this. Maybe we can end with this because it's 6:28. But I did get a couple of questions. My thought on the Killers. So the Killers played a pop-up show at the Paradise last Saturday night.
Did my friend say hi to you? Mike, my friend Mike.
I think yes.
He texted me and said, I'm here, and I just turned to my right, and there was Big Jim and his lady.
Yes, we moved to the bar. That's who that was, because I'm like, I know this guy, and it was too loud. And he was like, no, yeah. Fist bump. I'm like, yep, and then that's who that was. Yes, so they were amazing. They're one of my favorite bands, and that I paid an embarrassing amount to go to that, because when I heard of that, I'm like, the Killers at the Paradise. I'm going.
So was that a special? Was that a charity thing? Was it?
No, I just think it was for super fans. They just decided we have this open night. We're not
playing Boston Calling.
They headlined at Boston Calling Sunday night, and so Saturday night they had open. The Paradise apparently had an open night. They booked it. It sold out in 30 seconds.
Right.
And yeah, they were amazing. They were amazing. And as much as I have my gripes about that venue, the sound there is always impeccable.
Yeah. What's your problem with the venue?
Fucking pulled at one
it's
point.
Cramped in
it's
the
cramped,
pole,
and they definitely
and
oversold it. And then you have the security. I get that they're just trying to do their jobs. Can't stand there. Move from the bar. They're yelling at you.
Yeah.
My dainty wife getting stepped on, so I'm worrying about her.
It's been that way for 40 fucking years.
I know, but sometimes I'm like, this fucking pole. Can't we engineer this somehow? And I know they already got rid of one of them, but they still. I found a spot. We found a spot by the merch table. Good sight line. Sound was awesome. They were great. And yeah, just quickly on that, because I didn't think I was going to get in it after paying this embarrassing amount for 2 tickets, because unbeknownst to me, StubHub will sell you, named them, second party market will sell you tickets and then tell you in tiny font you have to meet the person because these aren't transferable tickets. I found this out and lost my mind. At 1 o'clock, they send me on Saturday, they send me an email, because I'm like, you buy it. Normally you get tickets like that. It'd been like a day. I'm like, what's happening here? 1 in the afternoon, I get this weird looking email from StubHub, and they're like, yeah, here's this person's number. You need to contact them. I'm like, this is a San Jose number. And this name, I'm not, no. And I was like, you know what? We'll blow this up. I'm not going. I want my money back. a million phone calls, screaming my face off at people.
You can actually talk to someone?
Oh, Mike, but to get these people, and then, you hear certain accents, and I'm like, no.
I don't want to be talking to you.
7 hours of this. And then my poor wife having to deal with this lunatic, like a shaved ape in my house, just screaming. Yeah, just out of my mind, because I'm like, just give me my money back, you fucks. But they're like, essentially like, well, you should have read the fine print. Like, how is this legal that you sell tickets, but I have to like talk to another party, and I have to meet them on Com Ave, and they walk me in? This is ridiculous.
Did that happen?
Yes. Once I really did find out, like, listen, you're either going to eat this money or you're going to do this. And so I texted this stranger and was like, hey, I guess I got to meet you. They're like, oh, I've been waiting to hear from you. Like, bing, bang, boom. It was easy. We got in. But, I got my wick is very small right now, so it didn't take much.
Believe me.
Yeah. Oh,
when they say this line is recorded, I hope it's really not, because I've had some really bad moments.
Yeah.
Really bad moments.
Screaming, just like.
You ever get called back?
No.
I mean, I told someone to go fuck their mother and like the whole thing, and then like at midnight.
Oh no!
Midnight, my phone rings. I don't recognize the number, but I pick it up. Fuck my mother? How about I fuck your mother? And the guys.
Oh, so he wrote your number down and
got my number and called me back. And I got off. Funny. I said, you know what?
Yeah.
All right.
Fair's fair.
Yep. Fair is fair. I got it. All right. On that note, everybody, we're done.
Bye.
I think we're back at it next Wednesday, I assume. Ryan, thanks for filling in today. We appreciate it.
Hopefully. Hit me up if you want to buy motorcycles.
Okay. Or guns or anything like that. Bye.
Bye.